I am H.W. Buck Richardson, born in 1930, December 20th, 1930.
Where were you born?
A little town called Cedaredge, Colorado, in the front bedroom of my parents' house.
And who were your parents? Full name?
My mother was Lucy Winona Cox, married Ward Spencer Richardson.
You keep going.
And Dad worked for DuPont powder plant, the dynamite factory. He was the paint foreman for the plant for 39 years. And I went to grade school, lived next door to the grade school in Laver's. So I couldn't really get school much. And went to high school in Castle Rock, the county seat of Douglas County, Colorado.
Is that where you met Donna?
Yeah, my wife and I dated through most of high school, and then graduated high school and went 1 year at Colorado A&M College in Fort Collins, and worked in the summer times at various jobs, from landscaping, mowing lawns, to delivering newspapers, to working on farms.
So your first job was delivering newspapers?
That first job that I got paid for was probably mowing lawns, but I did do.
It's still going on.
Did do. My brother and I delivered 101 newspapers in a little town of Laver's that we ride our bicycles a mile over to the highway where the delivery would be for the Denver Post, and we'd deliver all the papers and collect the money and everything. It was, I don't remember now how much we got out of it. It cost $1 a month for the newspaper. I think it was $1 a month for the newspaper, maybe a little bit more than that, I've forgotten. But I don't know how much we got out of that after that. And I went back to school. I worked construction. We ran a motor grader. Well, let's see, that was after Kodiak. Well, we went to Kodiak, Alaska in 1951. When it looked like that picture up there. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
And we went back in year 2000, our 50th wedding anniversary, and it changed to this much picture here. I worked for the Alaska Road Commission up there, and learned to run a motor grader, a bulldozer,
This is right
power
out of
shovel.
high school?
No, that like college. Well, what college I had. Only a year and a half. And went up there, and then Donna came up in June. I went up in December, after Christmas, right after Christmas, and 49. And Donna came up. We got married in June 9th of 1950 in Kodiak. It was still a territory. And we were married at the Navy base, because I worked at the Alaska Road Commission, and when they cut back in the winter time, they cut back to only having one man, and that was the foreman. And so I went out to the Navy base and worked at the Navy base, and we extended a runway, and I learned more construction equipment out there. And then the Korean War broke out, and we decided I was going to join the service. I came back in 1951, April, joined the Air Force. I took basic training at Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio, Texas. Was assigned to a National Guard wing, Texas National Guard, and we were sent to the wing. It was a troop carrier wing. We were sent from Love Field in Dallas, Texas, to Air Base in South Carolina, Greenville, South Carolina. And then from there, I was sent overseas, and was with 8th Air Force in England. And was there for a few months, and I was able to bring Donna over. She had to pay her own way. She took a ship out of Montreal, Canada, and came over, and we lived there for almost 3 years. Our son Mike was born there, and I was assigned from the Air Force. The Air Force was going to take over some Army engineering battalions. And when they was going to do that, they sent us, a few of us, 4 enlisted men and 2 officers to this battalion. And we went down to a little town. We were in Warrington, England at that time, at an air base in England called Burtonwood Air Force Base. And from there we went down to a little town called Bishop Stortford. And there was an Army base, and the Army was building a runway for the RAF. And we worked on that, and I ran a motor grader there. We learned to be a blue top. That's a good motor grader. Had a good skill. They dumped lane mixed cement, lane being lane on water. And with the motor grader, I had to make it tabletop level. In fact, they had a straight edge, a 16-foot straight edge they would put on it, and it had to be that level. And this was the base for the upper concrete for the whole runway. So I got a pretty good eye for doing that, and came home out of the service and worked for Henry Shore Construction Company out of Littleton, Colorado. We were building I-25.
Do you remember that year?
Through Castle Rock. I got out on April 9th in 1955. So, yeah, it was 55 when I was working. I got out on April 9th, 55, and I had a job April 11th of 1955, 2 days after I got out.
Okay.
And I started running equipment with Henry Shore, and I finally ran a motor grader for him. And then I quit to go back to school and went for another quarter. It was a quarter system up in CSU at that time. Now that it was become CSU, Colorado State University, instead of just call it A&M College. And the difference between a university and a college is there has to be 4 colleges to qualify as a university. But anyway, I left there in 58, I guess it was, I was going to go back to school in California because I thought I was going to be a tech writer.
Before you left there, though, that's where Chuck was born.
Chuck was born, yeah. That's right, Chuck was born. Second son Chuck was born in Fort Collins. And he must have been, let's see, 60 now, so that's 60 years ago. So what is that? 60 from now is 2000, 1950, 60, yeah, plus or minus, whatever. Anyway, we went out to California and got a job with Lockheed Aircraft Company.
What city do you live in?
Big word?
City? Sacramento?
Oh, no, we lived in Whittier, California.
Whittier, California.
A suburb of Los Angeles. And drove to Burbank, California for work in Lockheed. I installed the emergency. I got a job in a machine shop making aircraft parts. It was a 12-hour day jobs. We worked from 6 in the morning to 6 at night, or vice versa. I did night shift most of the time. 6 and 7 days a week, and made decent money, but all I did was work and eat and sleep.
Mm-hmm. So when was Shelley born?
Shelley was born. When was Shelley born?
About time.
Okay.
1958.
1958, thank you.
Valentine's Day. That's why I'm so special and sweet and
Yes,
and
get out of here.
wonderful.
Let me give 5 more minutes.
Okay.
So go back to just your childhood and talk about any cool things about your town or any memories you have.
Well, the little town the town was a mile away from any highways and stuff like that because of the DuPont dynamite. And it was a company-owned town, and we lived next to what's called Plum Creek, and it was a lot of cottonwood trees and stuff. And we, as Boy Scouts, we'd build lean-tos, and we slept in them, and we would invite the power of the plant manager and so forth down for breakfast a lot of times. And just had good, played cowboys and Indians, of course. Grew up in a small town.
And what about the dynamite town? Any crazy stories that people died?
Well, we had one explosion when I was in the first or second grade that killed a man, and it was powerful enough, and our school was probably close to a 3/4 of a mile away from the explosion, and it bounced me out of my chair. I remember that. And then there was another explosion, but I was gone. And I left there in 1948 for all intents and purposes, and this is the last explosion, I think, was around 1950 or something like that. Didn't kill anybody, but I was gone.
Did you have any headaches when you left the town?
No, I didn't have any headaches. The people on the dynamite, the plant, and the plant itself, the powder line they call it, those guys would get withdrawal headaches from being away from the dynamite. So when they would take a trip, go on vacation, they would literally take a stick of dynamite, break it in half, and put that half under the front seat of the car driving, so that they didn't get away from whatever it was that caused the, because they would have severe headaches when they got away from the dynamite, and I don't have any idea what caused that. But yeah, that was kind of a strange thing, and people probably would clean their car out and see a half a stick of dynamite. Today it would be pretty scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I guess we'll just finish up with any of your advice for future generations, or any of your thoughts on the future?
Just be honest with everybody and work hard. Work for something that you like doing and not for the money, and you'll be a lot happier in life.
And do you have your biggest regret in life, if you have any?
No, not really. I probably should have completed my college career, but I was not a good student. I don't know that it benefited me any in my life. Yeah.
And your happiest moment in your life?
Probably being married. I mean, it's not just a moment. It was 66 years. It'll be 66 years this June. So.
Any time in particular during your marriage?
Not really. No, I can't think. We had a lot of good trips with friends, and yeah, no special one thing I don't think of.
Okay. Cool. Well, I appreciate it. And then just, if you want to list your parents on both sides' full names and their parents' full names, if you can remember that. So
Well, my dad's father was named Frederick Richardson, and I forgot his middle name. And my grandmother, Richardson, was, oh golly, I can't tell you her name now. My mother's parents were Lou Cox and Alice. Her name was Alice. Doggone it, her dad was the one that named me Buckshot and stuck throughout my whole life.
that's where Buck came from?
Shortened down to Buck, yeah. My high school diploma had Buck on it.
Really?
Much to my mother's chagrin. She didn't like that at all. But Alice Klein, that's it, Klein. And Grandpa was sheriff in the 30s of Douglas County, and he was a horse trader and a saddle maker, and he rancher, and that's how he made his living. And he was always my hero. He could do about anything. He was a horse whisperer. If he had a horse or any animal he had for any length of time at all and sold it, he could go out in the field and call it, and that animal would come to him.
All right. Well, I think that wraps about up.
That pretty does.
Do you have any other thing you wanted to say that I didn't ask you already?
Not that I think of now. Probably will in 15 minutes from now.
Yeah, well, we can maybe do this again in next year, too.
We need to, yeah.
Awesome.